Sunspot Solar Observatory, and the road that goes into the whole thing is blocked off. There's police tape. A sheriff guy just left, and there's an abandoned car here at the front. So I don't know what that's about, but here, check this out. Oh, you can't. Okay, so I'm at the Sunspot Solar Observatory area where people live inside there too, and it's blocked off. As you can see right there, they got police tape. There was a sheriff behind this abandoned car here, so I don't know what's up with that. And there's literally like a ghost town up here. There's no one to talk to. So there's nothing happening here. Like, it is dead quiet. And usually when you're up here, there's people driving around and there's some people living here. So that's weird. Welcome to the National Observatory at the Sacramento Peak. Visiting hours are daily between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And you're supposed to drive carefully, but it is blocked off on the outside here. And there is this car parked here, so I guess some people had went in there and the sheriffs are after them, I believe so. Go up and walk up in here past the line and see what's up, because some other people did. So I'm gonna go see what they say. To some people, and they said that they already had been in some buildings up here, and it's just abandoned, like everybody left in a hurry. There's computers there, a bunch of vehicles, and all of the houses. Here, let me flip. Does this flip while it's on? Nope. Okay, hold on. Like I said, it's a ghost town. All of the houses are empty. Not a soul here. And evidently the sheriff's department came, talked to them, and left. So they're not saying anything. And in fact, let's go look, see what this note says on this door over here. It says the laundromat is permanently closed, so they ain't gonna be washing clothes here no more. Yeah, totally empty. It says do not enter U.S. property of the government. But this is an old sign. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen, a drone flying by. Film it, Austin. So there is somebody watching.
Where'd it go?
It's right there. I don't think I could see it on this, it's so tiny.
Sunlight's in the way for me to film.
Besides a drone flying around. And some woodchucks. No, just kidding. No woodchucks. But you can see this is the main lab. No authorized personnel. Authorized personnel only. And there's like no one here. Anywhere. So these labs are empty. Whatever this was, it looks like they just stopped work over there and they left. There's gas tanks over there for their stuff. It's nothing there. And somewhere around here is the post office. can see there's government cars just parked there, left there. Crazy shit, huh? So we're gonna walk around and save some battery and go over by the observatory and see what's up over there. To the Sunspot Observatory. As you can see there behind me, the giant obelisk. And let's see here. The door is locked. No one is here. Nothing. Nobody. Nobody's here. You can see I got my son with me there. There is not a soul. So we're gonna walk down around this loop here and see what's up. And that goes for the little observatory behind those trees too. But yeah, look how big that thing is. It's hundreds of feet up. Actually, let's go to that scenic point first. We're gonna go check out the scenic point I remember as a kid over here, and then see what we could film from there. At the scenic point, and you can see behind me hundreds and hundreds of miles across this valley, at least 200 straight in that direction, and that's 270 square miles of white sands. And I live in that little town down there. You can see it. I'm gonna get some 4K footage because I'm here. And then the observatory behind me, where it is a ghost town. Again, nobody. Except for one drone did we see up here, and one guy leaving, and he said some of the offices were open. We're gonna go see if we could find that. But anyway, take in this view here. There's, I think it's the Apache one, and actually I'm not sure. It could be a private one, but it doesn't appear to be anybody over there either. I mean, we could see pretty good from over here, even though the camera's a little fuzzy. But yeah, I don't see no one over there either. And we're gonna go down to these other facilities and see what we can see. Seems to be like for no reason, just no one here, and they left everything. So I don't know what the F. Maybe the bad boy son is doing something that they don't want nobody to know about, because I do know that they have a computer here that predicts the sun's actions over a period of time. So they would know here first if there was any problem with the sun in this solar minimum. And yeah, either that or they don't think that they have any reason for this at all. You can see there's the visitor sign, but there ain't no visitors. Notice, no one there. Yeah, so it's just empty here. Everything's shut down. Even the places where people live in here, that people have lived in here with the Forest Service and that lived at the observatory in the little town, they're just not here. So that's pretty fucking bizarre. And this is the one building I hear something on, and it's like something's running, an air conditioner, it seems like. Nothing at the Atana over there. The research labs were abandoned. This is some kind of joke, but look what's in the trash bin at the door. The X-Files. Unrestricted access to buildings that look like they were abandoned in a hurry. So talk about some real X-Files going on. Abandoned facilities here. And in the trash can, there's the X-Files, unrestricted access. At an abandoned government facility that there's not a soul here. There is a weird smell here, and I'm starting to get concerned about that. It's locked. Nobody's home. As you can see there's still shit laying around in there. Maybe you can't see it. Anyway, there's just crap everywhere. Tables, chairs, computers. Whole place completely abandoned. Let's walk right down here and then we'll get out of here. Good. You have to poo. That's great. There's all these government vehicles here. And the solar observatory vehicles. You know, but there's no one here. There's not a soul here. There's no one in the mechanic shop. Over there. Walked by that a minute ago. Nothing. Nobody. We're gonna go check these last couple buildings here. I can't find the post office. I don't know, it's just weird. Weird shit. And I looked and there's just like I don't know, mop shit crammed in there, you know, to clean up stuff. So it's like a building and just nothing else. There's a material safety data sheet right there in that box. So you need a key. But yeah, I don't know what's up with this whole thing here. And then they got their own little private gas station for their stuff. There's not a soul here. Nobody. Just me and Boston over there trying to find the post office. Alright, so we're going to go down here. We're going to look at the last couple buildings. But other than the X-Files being in the garbage and a strange smell here, I don't know what that smell is. Hopefully I didn't poison myself. There's nothing to see here, folks. Except for one big giant mystery on where did all the government people go in a short amount of time, like that fast. It's open to the public. I was actually planning on taking a tour, and now there's nothing. Nobody. The website's still up, like if it's open. There's a couple of articles about it shutting down and you know, support for it in case they get it up and running or some shit like that. I don't know. Anyway. But it looks like a small crowd has gathered down here at the gate. Let's see what some of these people think about what's going on. Looks like I got a little slime on the camera. What's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley, hi Ashley. And Ashley got to walk up
Yes.
in a different direction than I went.
Residential zone.
And what'd you say you saw there?
Oh, I went up right to the curve. About 6 houses on my left, 5 on my right. Every single house is empty. There's not one car in any driveway. They're all empty and the blinds are up just enough to have the windows locked with boards.
Wow.
Every single home has their boards slatted.
So what do you
Their
think's
windows
going on
slatted.
here?
I don't know. I mean, I truly don't understand why. We were just talking to this gentleman who used to work for the government. He's saying obviously if it was an active scene, there
Yeah.
would be. I
Yeah.
said, okay, well, if it's inactive and they've left, why do they still have the tape up? Why wouldn't they remove that?
Yeah, I have no idea. And
You
it,
know?
supposedly it just closed down on the 6th, and it's hard for me to believe they cleaned it out that fast.
That fast, that's right. And it really looks prepared. I mean, if you go up there, these houses are completely empty. There's nothing in them.
Yeah, that is
You can't
bizarre.
do that in a day. You
No.
cannot do that in a day. You just can't.
Yeah, we walked up to the observatory and walked around it, and just this
There's
empty
a gentleman
ghost
who went
town.
into the lab. The
Yeah,
door's open.
I was gonna talk to
The
him.
door is open. You can enter pictures inside.
Wow, I missed the door. We checked some doors, but I guess we missed that
He
one.
said he went inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hey,
Yeah,
thanks for talking
I
to
went
us.
up pretty far. It got pretty eerie.
Yeah,
I turned around and came back.
right.
Pretty creepy.
Yeah, we walked around in there, not a sign of
Not a
anyone.
sign.
Here, let me turn. So I met you coming down when I went up there, and you said you found a couple doors open up there.
Right. It looked like by the label of one of the signs that were kind of off a little ways from the property of these a couple of buildings looked like were called the main lab areas.
Yeah.
And there were some areas right around the side. As you can see these loud vents, air vents, or some kind of AC system or something.
Yeah, I went by that building.
Yeah, you guys probably, hard to miss, pretty loud. That's the building, and it looked like the side of it that had those vents had some open areas, and back in the open areas had doors, but they weren't locked.
Yeah, you know what we found in that building as the one weird thing? We didn't find that locked door. We came up from behind it from the observatory.
Yeah.
But there's a collector's edition X-Files special or extreme access or something like that DVD thing on top. Yeah, unrestricted access DVD on the top of the trash can on that far wall with the locked door. Yeah, that was weird. I recorded it, and you know, like there's nothing, no sign of no one. I mean, I kind of peeked in. Oh shit! I'll cut that out.
It was creepy. It felt like an X-Files as I was walking.
Yeah, there's like no sign of anyone in there, and I was looking down the hallways, and you can see the footprints in through the somebody recently mopped and walked through there.
Yeah.
And you can see their footprints down the hallway in the light.
Guess I'll just close my eyes.
Okay, you there?
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going good, Ransom. Thank you for everything, my friend.
All right, so I got here on the Skype Jimmy Church, which is known to a lot of my new subscribers due to the Sunspot things, because I pulled in probably a lot of subscribers due to you. And I thought I would talk to you about some of the coolest and far out there things that you've come across on the radio and television, because I've seen that you have a big list of great guests, from David Icke and Stanford Friedman, Nick Pope, even Freeman, which is a pretty cool guy to talk to there.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
So I thought I would talk about this whole thing, pretty much coast to coast on, not to throw a pun on there, but of all of the UFO related things and the way that the Pentagon now is kind of, given, I don't know if you'd say they're Easter eggs or whatever, but they're kind of signaling towards a more disclosure type attitude.
Well, my fingers are crossed on that. I have a very broad general, and thank you, Ransom, first before we get started here for having the courage to go up to the observatory and shoot that amazing video. I got a lot of responses with that, and of course, I interviewed you with that too as well. So I want to thank you for that. And this community is so acclimated to being cautious. And when news breaks, like what we went through over the last couple of weeks with the National Solar Observatory, this community is very smart. Yeah. And they will get on to the story and they will figure things out if they can't get answers directly. We're just used to that. And so, and using something like the National Solar Observatory as an example, if we go back into the past and look at even recently different situations that have surfaced, we can go back to the recent Roswell mummy that those photographs surfaced a couple of years ago, going back 3 years. And there was this big reveal done on pay-per-view out of Mexico City. All of these researchers got together, and in a matter of minutes after the presentation, and it was getting pretty ugly leading up to it, but within minutes, the photographs were debunked, and the situation was taken control of by the community. There's a lot of very, very, very smart people out there. And so, which leads us to, just recently with the videos that were presented going back to December of 2017, and it went all over the mass media. And of course, I'm talking about the gun camera footage from apparently some F-18 Hornets.
Yeah.
And the Tic Tac UFO and to the Stars Academy and stuff. Now, so the videos were released as a Pentagon release. This is a Pentagon thing. They're now working with our community. And our community, by and large, does not trust the man.
Yeah.
We don't do it. We don't. And so when it comes to the CIA or the FBI or the DIA or the Pentagon or the White House, them getting involved with this community, we raise an eyebrow and we will figure things out. There is no immediate, oh, okay, now we're going to trust the CIA. Yeah, now we're going to trust the Pentagon. They're now working for us. It doesn't work that way. That comes over time. And so when we're talking now today about the Pentagon having some black program that was investigating UFOs, well, first off, this isn't any big revelation.
Yeah, right.
No, that the CIA is interested in the subject and has been investigating it. We know that the FBI has been doing this for decades and decades, including the CIA and, of course, the Pentagon. This goes back a long ways. And there isn't anything new here. The name of the program, okay, well, even that is brought into question today. And I'll be doing a show about that tomorrow night. But this community will go and dig deep. So it turns out that those videos that were allegedly released by the Pentagon out to the public domain through to the Stars Academy had been on the web, had been on YouTube for years. Some going back 10, 11, 12 years. So the community was able to just go, wait a minute here. I thought you presented this to us as some release by the Pentagon now that we are friends. Well, they've been out on the web forever. There isn't anything secret about the videos, and there isn't anything groundbreaking about the videos. There's better Air Force and gun camera footage out there on the web. If you want to go and seek it, you can go and find it. There was nothing new here.
Yeah, plus all the STS footage and all that stuff that we've seen for about a decade now. Besides that, those, pretty much all they really did is do a up-to-date, no comment with those videos.
Yeah, well, there's that part too. And so for this community, now, when you look at, now I know Tom DeLonge, and he's been a guest on my show, and I've had a lot of correspondence with him, and I've been there to help him and support him as this thing is unfolded. But that being said, the community takes a look at who To the Stars has assembled, and it's an exciting cast of characters, right? And you look and you've got somebody from the CIA, you've got somebody from the Defense Intelligence Agency, you've got some physics experts here, you've got Skunk Works involved, right? Pretty impressive list.
Yeah.
But the community steps back and go, wait a minute here. We've got the CIA involved with this. We've got counterintelligence from the Department of Defense. We've got these are known government insiders, and all of them have been working with disinformation into this community for a very long time. Now, suddenly, we're supposed to trust their narrative, and they're wanting to be part of this. The community just they're used to this. They're not going to embrace it. What they will do is they will allow trust to come over time, and if the information is solid and the project is what it's supposed to be, well, that comes over something that is earned. It's not given, right? We just don't give that trust away, and it stumbled. It has stumbled over and over again, and we will see. We're excited, Ransom, about the mass media covering UFOs. Okay, that's great, because we have been, slapped around. And when I say we, I'm talking about the UFO community. and we have been embarrassed and ridiculed, from all levels of the media and from the Pentagon and from the White House. Yeah. And so once again, we're dealing with this. So that's so when we're talking about a relationship with the Pentagon, well, that's
it's hard to believe known liars.
Yeah. That's allegedly a relationship with To the Stars Academy. Yeah. And we will see. That's it. We are not going to jump up and down and be excited. And I think that DeLong, I shouldn't say I know that DeLong and those over To the Stars Academy were rather shocked that this community didn't just a party. They didn't do that. We will move forward cautiously, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, speaking of weird narratives, the Sunspot thing, they took another twist when they are trying to convince the public that they closed down this entire facility that's been there for decades, moved everybody from their residential homes, boarded up the homes, cleared out things. Now they have it running again like if nothing ever happened, but they're trying to say that the reason that they did all of this massive movement and stuff was because one person allegedly got on their Wi-Fi and downloaded some child pornography. And
right.
It just doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make any more sense than the non-information they were giving in the beginning.
That's correct. And the one thing that will diffuse a situation, especially in the media, is bring up child pornography. You want to kill somebody's career. You want to freak out the public. You want to really, bring up child pornography. Now, the darkness of those words, right? Child pornography. It's the one thing that freaks everybody out. Freaks me out.
Yeah.
Right. We react to that. Okay, so let's child pornography now is the issue here. Well, nobody's been arrested. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And the second thing, if that was indeed the case, you go in, you arrest the person, you grab his computers, you take this person. I just said him. I don't know if it's a him or a her, but
yeah.
This person goes to court and he goes to prison, right? If he's convicted.
Right, that would be the normal way they would want to catch somebody is they would want to catch them on the terminal or make sure they know who it is. And between that and clearing out a whole thing doesn't make sense. That's just
it's a very simple process. You're looking at IP addresses, you're looking at downloaded files, you're looking at the correspondence between the individual and the dark web or wherever they were accessing this from, and you go after them. What you don't do, not only with child pornography, but any multitude of issues that would come into play here, you don't evacuate and uproot families and employees and empty the facility and then leave the facility apparently, as you know, accessible to anybody that wanted to go up there.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, and even trying to blame it on like maybe somebody that lived in one of the homes or that came into the Sunspot. Why would that place have an open Wi-Fi like that they weren't paying attention to? And if it wasn't open, which would mean it would have to be somebody that worked there and knew the passwords.
Yeah, look, I had said from the beginning, and I didn't play around with my view on this. I said from the beginning, we're going to get some type of story here. Yeah. And when the story comes out, we will know that it is a load of BS. And it'll be left up to us to try to figure out what is really going on. And sure enough, they came out with this story. Well, if you just take that child pornography thing at face value. So what they are saying is, according to Aura, that there was a security issue and they called in the FBI. Well, I'm not even sure. I'm thinking that the FBI would be involved in child pornography at a certain point, but so was Department of Homeland Security. And they would go abroad and they would look at international networks and everything else. That's what comes into play.
Yeah.
Okay. that's how this would be handled. It would be handled this way. So, and the community, not only the community, the UFO community that has been looking at this, mass media, journalists and stuff that are looking back at this, they know that this is a cover story.
Well, yeah, it was really weird because with that Sunspot thing, CNN called me on my phone, and I didn't give them their number. Now it is, if you look about my about page on my YouTube, it's there. So they called me and they wanted to interview me, and then within 30 minutes of them calling me and asking me to interview me the next day, Aura put out their press release, and then CNN called back. I couldn't have been 30 minutes after that and said, we're not even coming because they killed the story, so it's over.
Yeah, and that's how you kill a story, and that's apparently what has gone on here. You don't. And you don't sanitize the place. You don't board up windows. You don't evacuate. You don't throw up police tape. You don't bring in the FBI and Black Hawk helicopters because of one lone person apparently downloading or distributing child pornography. You just don't do it. There's something else happened. Now, I don't know what it is.
Well, yeah, there were so many conspiracy theories. Like they had those newly discovered asteroids, and the three of them that were in a set that was coming by the Earth on the 6th and 7th. So you had that, and then you had some Photoshop looking UFO stuff out there, and then the Chinese theory. But do you think some of these things, moving past the observatory, how they had some web cams shut down at some of the other places that
right,
pique people's interest. But do you think a lot of these things are happening because of the reorganization from Trump's, new Space Force they have? And I don't know if you remember the hacker a couple years ago that was from England and supposedly hacked into the Pentagon and whatnot, and found that it said that there were non-terrestrial officers kind of insinuating that there were, like a lot of us think, there's been a Space Force and a black budget separate technological thing going on with some of these TR-3Bs and different stuff that look like they may be reversed engineered, and none of us know. We just see the lights in the sky.
Well, you're talking about Gary McKinnon, and Gary McKinnon is somebody that is highly regarded not only inside of the UFO community, but in the hacker community that doesn't do anything to with UFOs.
Yeah.
He is well respected. I went to New York to film an episode for my TV show on history last year, the year before, and I went to a hacker convention, Hope Hackers on Planet Earth. It's a huge.
Well, that must be cool.
Hacker. Yeah, really cool. And so I went around and I interviewed a bunch of hackers, and one of the things, once they found out who I was. There were some out there that knew about Coast to Coast or Fade to Black and History Channel. That was great. But the other ones, once they found out who I was and what I was about, they would ask me about Gary McKinnon. And it was a fascinating thing for me to find out how respected he is in the hacker world out there. That has nothing to do with UFOs. It's how he managed to breach the NASA computers in Florida in a very simplistic way and access this information. That's what they loved about him. It didn't have to be about UFOs. It could have been about kittens on some other government computers, but hacking in and getting it done in very simplistic ways is what they do. So anyway,
I bet they didn't evacuate that whole place when they found out they got hacked, did they?
Yeah, you would think. And the other thing is Gary McKinnon, this was about UFOs, and Obama and the government over in the UK, all the way up to the Queen, right, got involved in this battle over Gary McKinnon and him getting extradited over to the USA to face charges about UFOs. And that was really fascinating to see that play out. But getting back to this, so Gary accessed an image, And he said back then, I forget what he had, but he had like a 28.8, dial-up modem, and he had to wait for this image to load. And as it was loading, he could see this spacecraft that was in orbit over Earth. He described what he saw, but at that point, somebody grabbed a hold of the computer and shut it down. So he got to see like half of this image, but he did see a list of, which was exciting in of itself, but he got a list of names and job titles and ranks, and which indicated that there were off-planet members of the military that carry designations of being part of a space force. Now, we all know that the government has secrets, and they need to have those secrets. They need to maintain those, and I think by and large we respect that.
Yeah.
But we only know what we are fed when it comes to being in space, and a few of the points that are very obvious is that we haven't been back to the moon. No human beings have been above 400 miles in orbit because of the Van Allen radiation belt. Everything stays inside of that in some type of near Earth orbit, somewhere between 100 and 300 miles up. Right. And that includes the International Space Station. And nobody's been back to the moon or elsewhere. And that is what we are told. Then we have things like the X-37B, that program, which is up sometimes for a year or two in space before it comes back.
Yeah, they actually launched that from here. There's a Mach 1 up on the mountain I filmed, so it's about the size of a little minivan.
Right. And so the X-37B is top secret. There are thousands of engineers and pilots and physicists and scientists that are involved in that project, but we don't know anything about it.
Yeah, what was it doing up there all that time?
Well, it's up there right now, know? And so if you want evidence of a secret space program, you can look no further than the X-37B.
Yeah. And
that is what they are letting us know publicly. What is it that is going on in the black projects in the background? And
exactly.
the creation of the Space Force, I think, is a very easy way for, we could say Trump, because Trump is the president right now, but any president that would be in power has a cover story for anything else that gets disclosed in the future with the Space Force. It now can fall underneath this new wing at the Pentagon, and it's a good cover story for them.
Yeah, and they could say anything that's seen in the sky now could be attributed to the new Space Force. Kind of like when drones came out. The new debunkers started saying everything was a drone. The only problem with all of that is, these things have been around for thousands of years almost, where people are seeing stuff in the sky. Because I recently went and took a bunch of pictures at the National Petroglyph thing over here by where I live. And there's some pretty crazy stuff on the rock that's supposed to be 1,000 to 3,000 years old, if that's the right date for that even. And like alien-looking stuff. There's, all kinds of weird-looking star symbols and galaxy symbols. So it kind of makes you wonder, when they got this new space program, does that mean there's going to be more secrecy now or less? Kind of like you said, they can explain anything away.
Well, we have to ask ourselves a few questions. Why did we stop going to the moon? That was a very sudden, abrupt situation. Why? And that's just the United States. Why hasn't Russia gone to the moon? Why hasn't China gone to the moon?
Well, they put that little dinky, they always tell us they're putting these rovers up there, and you can never really know where they're at.
Well, I'm specifically referencing humans. What's the deal here? Well, I don't know if we haven't been back to the moon. I don't know that. I don't know if we haven't been to Mars.
Well, when you kind of look at that old Werner von Braun, messed up his name, Werner von Braun, or whatever. You remember that old Disney special he had where he showed all the cool stuff, like the, the bicycle wheel space station and all that stuff. So we know we've had the technology to do all of this, all the way since the late 50s. And like you were saying, who knows what that they have? It seems like everything that they show us is probably 30 years old, because I remember growing up here as a kid watching the stealth fighter fly around, a decade before it was declassified. It was common knowledge around here in this valley that what it was and, where it came from.
Well, I expect a secret space program. Our government better be doing all of this. I expect that. I really, really do. I don't need to have all of the information. I understand the need for secrecy in this, and we're certainly not going to let the rest of the world know, and others out there that don't have our best interest in play, to know what we are doing and what technology we have to support it. So I respect that, but I expect that we have something going on. When we stop sending men to the moon, we didn't send any women to the moon, but when we stop that and then turn around and suddenly scrap the shuttle program, what do we have in place that needs to be operational?
Yeah.
How are we doing this? Well, I expect that we have ongoing programs, and it's not up to Elon Musk to get men and women into space and to Mars and to the moon. It's not up to him. I'm glad that he's doing it. But what programs do we have in place? And I know that we do, and we have to. I'm not going to be surprised when this is disclosed and we find out. I'm not going to be surprised about that at all. And I don't think our community will. Our community is going to go, well, yeah, we knew that was going on.
Well, why do you think NASA and them go out of their way to, poke at us and make mysteries? If you remember the Viking mission, I think it was Viking missions that were out there, and it was a big deal in 77 when they launched them. And then by the time the shuttle program came around, a lot of people don't know that it was just going around Saturn, and they had a mysterious blackout with their software. But here at home in the United States, everybody was watching the Challenger disaster on television. So NASA, everybody was paying attention to those missions. And then I think it was Voyager, excuse me, not Viking. But everybody was paying attention to that and glued to that. And then when they have a massive blackout and mystery, we're distracted here with the shuttle exploding and stuff.
Well, that's the method of operation. And that goes with just about anything. If you want something to go away, you have something else that happens that goes into the media so you can bury the other story that you don't want covered.
Yeah.
And that happens every single day. That's the way the media runs. Look, I don't make any excuses for myself. And in that, I am a member of the media. With Fade to Black and with Coast to Coast each week, I'm literally speaking to millions of people. And I know how the media runs. I have a television series on his channel.
Right.
I know how this works. And I have chosen to not censor or edit myself. I need to make sure that the information that I speak about is credible and is vetted. Okay, I need to make sure about that part. But what I definitely have chosen to do is not to hold back. And it's a very strange tightrope to walk. I have spoken about some pretty amazing things out there, and I have not been contacted by the media. It's been very strange. I have thought over the years a couple of times where I've broken a story, what the media chooses to contact me about and what they choose to not contact me about is very interesting. I don't know where to go with this. And I did this. We did this discovery off of the coast of California, the underwater Malibu base, right? So that story broke, and I was contacted by the media, and it went across the United States and went around the world, and it blew up into this big story. And fine, I'm glad that it did. They ended up making jokes about it, and I expected that. But And then a couple of 3 years ago, we had this amazing mass sighting out in Joshua Tree. We had a documentary film crew there. We had hundreds of witnesses, and we saw this craft take off from the surface of the earth, fly up into the atmosphere, park itself, and turn into a star, and then dart off into space.
Yeah.
All documented. I went straight on Fade to Black. I went straight on Coast to Coast. I told the whole story live. I've got all of these hundreds of witnesses and video footage and camera footage, and everything is in place. Nobody contacted me. Nobody asked me about the footage. Nobody wanted to do an interview. You know, CNN, Fox, nobody reached out. And that's where we are today with this. I am happy with the coverage that we have gotten since December 16th, 2017, when the New York Times and the Washington Post, and then of course CNN and Fox and everybody else grabbed hold of the story and put it out there and raised awareness around the world about this very important subject. What has happened since then is I'm frustrated with the media taking their foot off the gas somewhat. And allowing it to once again go into the background. So where are we with disclosure today? You know, I don't need disclosure. I've seen the things that I have seen. I've got all of my witnesses and the fun that I've had in doing all of this. I don't need disclosure. But the community and the world, but the community will expect nothing less than the president stepping up to a microphone on live TV saying that we've had alien contact for years. ETs are real. They visit us every single day. And that is disclosure.
Yeah.
And so how close are we to that actually happening? Well, my view on that, Ransom, is a very simple one. They will be forced into making the announcement. They're not going to volunteer the information and having lied to us for 70 years. They're not going to do that. There's too much damage and spin control to do. But if something happens where Gary McKinnon or Anonymous or somebody else does a document drop on WikiLeaks of videos and documents, that will force the government into coming up and admitting this deception and having to disclose at that point. That's how disclosure is going to happen. It's not going to be because of what, you know, To the Stars Academy or anybody else is alluding to, that suddenly we have a bunch of friends in the Pentagon and at the CIA,
Right.
and they're just willing to just come forward with all of this. That's not how it's going to play out. And that in of itself is disinformation. You know, that it's simply not going to happen that way. It will happen by accident. It will be something that's out of the government's control, and then we'll have disclosure.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, to anybody with the brain, there's enough evidence out there that you would, like you said, you don't need someone else to the government to give you disclosure. Like, I've seen plenty of things that are unexplainable myself. Now, I can't say whether or not they were military or extraterrestrial or what they were, but I know they weren't claimed in the reality that they're pushing on me.
Well, see, this is the thing. You've seen your stuff. I've seen my stuff. We've got millions of witnesses and contactees around the world. You know, so we feel pretty good about where we are coming from. Okay, but you yourself went up to the National Solar Observatory when the place was evacuated by the FBI. You're walking through there. You could have vandalized the place. You could have done you could have stolen. You could have walked out of there with computers and tools, maybe even drove away with a new car, right? And
right.
could have done whatever you wanted. But when you walked through there and your camera went through the window with your son, and on top of that trash can is an X-Files DVD out in plain sight, that was left there for you to see.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. That's got to be a joke. Somebody's messed.
It's not a joke. No, that is deliberate. And the fact that the sheriff met you at the gate and then turns around and leaves and allows you to walk across police tape says everything. They wanted you to go up there. They wanted you to see what you saw. They wanted you to report it, and that is part of the entire situation with the FBI. Now, we have to ask ourselves why. Why the DVD? Why allowing you and others, right? Paul Martinez to fly his drone up there.
Yeah.
If this was some big security concern, if child pornography, theft of national property, computer systems, whatever the narrative is that they want to spin on us, you would not have been allowed to go up there and just videotape a crime scene.
Yeah, that's exactly. And the tapes only said caution, and I keep telling people this, that I was cautious. I didn't try to do anything dangerous, especially with my kid there, and I only went there for information, and I didn't get any.
Well, and why did they allow you to do that?
Yeah, and that doesn't make sense, according to their whole story, that there was some kind of security concern. Paul Martinez went up there again a couple times, and he talked with their, rent-a-cops that they hired there. And on the first time, they said they're going to be there 24/7. And so I went back up there probably 4 o'clock in the morning on the day that they were supposed to open, thinking, if that place was cleared out and they were reopening tomorrow with regular business hours, that they would need to, ship in some stuff or bring their stuff back. But that wasn't the case. It was a complete ghost town all the way until they supposedly opened. So they're on the bare minimum. And the security straight up lied to the guy and said, they were going to be there. They weren't there. And then later on, he went back again, and they tried to tell him that he can't film it, and that they're going to go after us for our footage on the internet. And this is just the security guard, so you can take that with a grain of salt. But
yeah, and we will find out. This community is very smart and very vigilant, and when it comes to something like this, we're not going to stop until we get the answers. And you are part of that, and I really appreciate everything that you have done. But we have got to get way beyond this cover story.
Yeah.
And I know that they are hoping that once they say the words child pornography, that everybody is hands off and they don't want anything else to do with the story, and that they want all of this to go away. I feel in my bones that if something happens ET related at an observatory, at some type of radio telescope complex, that this is exactly how it would have played out.
And you know what's funny, that I think I'm just going out on a limb here, but there are so many lights in this valley constantly, and they're similar to the Phoenix looking lights, but more than the video that you see of the Phoenix lights, which is kind of just a row of lights, the ones that people got, these will move around and make different shapes in the sky, and right after they disappear, the Air Force out here at Holloman will send up 2 planes every time, and they'll drop flares. So it's almost like that's a new standard procedure, that anytime there's lights in the sky, there's all kinds of activities to confuse and misinform everyone of anything that if it did happen.
Right, and that's where we are at today. We have. I have a really nice night vision setup and night vision star binoculars, and I have everything that it takes to go out and see stuff in the sky. And the community's got it too.
Yeah.
I go out and I look up all the time, and I see things that you can't see with the naked eye. And it's obvious that there is something going on. I don't know, Ransom, if this is our technology, if it's off-world ET technology, if it's a combination of both. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know is that the government isn't mentioning this, that we have this technology. When I see, something cruising around in the atmosphere, making crazy turns, I know that it's not a satellite up there moving at these great speeds. That's not how they're used. So what is it? And
not only that, people keep telling me that you cannot see a satellite, that it's physically impossible to see something that small going that speed. But yet, if I go up here on the mountain and the air's clear, you can clearly see things at a steady pace going across the sky. So if they're not satellites, what are they?
Well, you have to, yeah. There are some satellites that are up there moving. There's no doubt about that. Those most of them are moving around the equator, and it's a gravity thing.
Yeah.
Anything that is moving in a north to south or south to north in a polar orbit, that's a difficult thing to do because you're dealing with magnetics and the way that those orbits would run. It's a very
Yeah, they tear up their
complex
machines.
So when you see something moving in those directions or off axis, southeast to northwest, at an angle, that's a crazy thing. And most satellites are in a geostationary orbit. They are just up there and parked and are not moving. And if you do see them, you would think that they were a star, because they're just reflecting sunlight up there.
Exactly. Every direct TV guy knows that, he has a certain number of degrees he can go set the little dish to, and the satellite's going to be there.
Right. So we see things up there that are moving around that don't make any sense. And I don't know what technology it is, but if it's some kind of anti-gravitic off-world technology that our government is in possession of and not letting us know, that's pretty uncool. And that comes into play with the disclosure narrative. When it happens and we find out that the government has some type of free energy, anti-gravity technology that civilians don't have, that we could use to harvest food or transportation, or free us up for from our chains to oil and the petrodollar, then we've got a problem. And so that's part of this disclosure thing, where the government isn't going to freely just step forward with all of this information because they have a lot of answering that they have to do.
That's a good point. In closing, what do you think about the, kind of, as you were just saying there, with some of these technologies, and not even the fancy ones, but like right now, a person could, without the government interference, get solar panels. There's machines that'll take water right out of the air and you can filter it. I mean, we have enough technology that each individual family could do their own thing, produce their own power, and have all day to create things or ponder or do whatever it is they do to enjoy true freedom. So, kind of to that point, what do you think, or is there any time in the foreseeable future that the governments of the world will actually let people, use the technology we already have?
Well, it comes down to a very simple thing, and it's kind of dark, but it's really the truth. It's money.
Yeah.
So until a corporation out there sees the profitability in building a sustainable infrastructure, and they see the profit in that instead of the profit of selling electricity and selling gas, natural gas, and oil, and until that happens, there's not going to be anybody interested in doing it.
Yeah.
And that's really the truth. That's the bottom line.
It's definitely sad, but the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. And until that day happens, look, if you build a magic box, right, and it enabled to suck electricity out of the air for free, and you put it on every single house, every single car on this planet, and everything is free. Well, now, how much do you sell the box for?
Exactly right.
Now, and until that happens, and suppose let's go even crazier. What if you could build this box for $1? Right? That it was some kind of magic, right? It's just some kind of unbelievably simple thing.
Well, there would be wars to stop it.
Well, nobody would do it. Nobody would do it. There wouldn't be any profit. Or do you turn around and sell these boxes because you have to make up for the profits that you would be losing in gas and oil and electricity and coal and nuclear power? You're giving away those profits. So if you sold, let's say, a box like this to every man, woman, and child on this planet, to the total of 7 billion people, you're looking at $7 billion. There's no money in it.
Right.
Each company makes that per year individually on their own by the thousands. By the thousands.
Yeah.
So if you sold this box for $5, $10, $100, right? $100. Oh, wow, that's pretty good. That would be $700 billion. That's a lot of profit. The profit stops there. There's no money made the next year or the next.
Well, sort of. I mean, you would have a whole economy of people that had time to invent more stuff.
Well, look, that's you and I walking around with flowers hanging out of our pockets. I get that. I understand that. But those that are in control of the banking system and the money and the manufacturing are not interested in that.
Yeah, of course not.
It's really not that simple. When you look at somebody like, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, pick somebody that is, Bezos, that is sitting on in their own bank account $50 billion, right? $100 billion of money. They could take 10 billion of that and build houses all over Africa and set up a school system for everybody and allow everybody to have food, shelter, and health care for the rest of their lives.
Well, I kind of disagree with you on a little bit that it's money because, that's the answer that everybody always says. Why do we go to war? Why do they could do all of this stuff for money? The only problem is that the elite print the money, so they don't even need the money. They have more wealth than you can imagine. So the money's just there to control you because you want it.
Well, then you answered your own question.
Yeah.
You answered your own question. And look, it's very simple. How much money do you need, right? Why is it that once somebody, has is considered a billionaire, and you could go and spend $1 million a day, spend $1 million a day shopping for the rest of your life and your children's lives and never get to the rest of the money? What is it that you need more money for? But, Ransom, they still do it,
Yeah, they
don't
need the
they?
power. They got the power.
So,
I'm waiting on my Brewster's Millions moment anytime now. No.
You get it, man. You'll get it. Thank you so much, Ransom. Great conversation.
Yeah.
Keep it going. And if you get any information out there and you need my support on anything, we are here for you. That video is historical. You shot that with your son. You have a lot to be proud of, and I'm proud of you, and so is this community.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, ladies and gentlemen. Jimmy Church, and don't forget to check him out on Fade to Black on his YouTube channel. And you have you're on all kinds of radio stations, correct?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. All you have to do, anybody out there, it's very simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com and all of our outlets are there. Any way that you want to listen to the show is there. YouTube is a very small part of what we do. It's just another way of getting the message out there. But whatever your flavor is, whether you want apps or podcast or you want to listen for free or you want something out, whatever it is, you want to listen live or you want to listen to it, everything that we do is there. It's all available, and it's all simple. jimmychurchradio.com. Thank you so much, Ransom.
All right, man. Have a good one. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. 420 TV.
Guess I'll just close my eyes.